Can you hear me?
Are we audible, sir?
Yes, I am audible, but can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you completely.
No problem. ठीक है, I'm here.
Good morning, everyone, respected faculty members, research scholar, and our distinguished guest. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all for the Viva Voce examination of Mr. Prem Prakash Dayal for the award of degree of Doctor of Philosophy. The research work undertaken by Mr. Prem Prakash is titled Behavioral Reasoning Perspective of Scaling and Adapting Agile Methodology in the Global Software Development. The research has been conducted under the esteemed guidance and supervision of Dr. M. Rajkumar. Today's Viva Voice is being conducted under the gracious presence of our esteemed external examiners. We are honored to welcome Professor Dr. Sanjay Pandey, Professor, Head of the Department, Guru Ghasidas Vishwavidyalaya, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh, who has joined us physically with us. We welcome you, sir. We also extend our welcome to Professor Tushar Kant Pani, Professor, Ravenshaw University, Cuttack, Odisha, who has joined us online. We also welcome you, sir. Now, I
Okay.
would be sincerely thank both our external examiners for taking out their valuable time and agreeing to evaluate the doctoral work of Mr. Prem Prakash Dayal. Now, I would request Mr. Prem Prakash to continue with this presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good morning, everybody. Dr. Sanjay, Dr. Pani, Dr. Rajkumar, everybody. I'll start my presentation on my PhD thesis, which is titled Behavioral Reasoning Perspective of Scaling and Adopting Agile Methodology in Global Software Development. Let me try and first give you a perspective about me, because this will set the context about why did I pick up this research as well. Now, I have been in the industry for almost 2 decades. This is my 22nd year running. And I have been part of organizations in the IT services, in the product companies, where Agile has been very, very prominent. I work currently in a product company as a vice president delivery. I am a certified Scrum professional, a certified Agile coach. I have also been authoring a lot of papers, one of which is an ID case study. I'm a master's in computer application and PGP, EPGP from IIM Kozhikode. One of the prominent things which I would like to really share with my esteemed examiners is that I have been associated with academics and teaching because of my passion in guest lectures at IIM Rauta, OP Jindal, and obviously other engagements in other universities in India. That's basically about me. And one of the reasons why I had put a slight emphasis is because I would like to tell about why did I pick up this research. Now, this is the flow of the presentation, the way it would go out. The problem I'll talk about, the gap. I'll talk about the theory which I'm using. Obviously, we will focus on the methodology, findings, contribution, and obviously open to questions. Quickly going now to the most important aspect. Yeah, I will quickly first talk about this because people present here in the room will definitely appreciate that there has been digital disruption, right? Over the last few years, we have seen the technology transformation, digital transformation. Now, what has happened is that a lot of environment complexity has come, and this has really led organizations vouch for competitive advantage. And one of the ways in which organizations have been able to achieve is through agility. And hence, the rise of agile methodology, specifically in the last few years, has been extremely, extremely important and noticeable. Now, why am I talking about this? The rise of agile methodologies, obviously, this talks about what agile is and what are the various basic tenets of Agile, I just want to spend a couple of minutes, sir, to talk about that. Agile is basically a thought process, and I'm sure all of you know about it. This Agile thought process is where organizations have been struggling a lot. They say doing Agile and being Agile, both of them have got a separate segment altogether. And my focus here is to take the organization from doing Agile to being Agile. And that's exactly why organizations have been spending humongous amount of money and doing investments in Agile adoption. Now, I'll come to this slide, but I'm trying to make everybody understand, and I'll slightly be faster, sorry for that, stop me wherever you think. Earlier, the organization in the last 20 years, if you go back, the thinking was very traditional. We were following plan-driven approach, very process-oriented approach, and we had that motion or intent of following a plan. But then with rapid changes, today insurance companies, fintech companies, they change immediately. They have to change their product. They have to change their services. They have to be agile. They have to respond to immediate changes. And that is why the thinking from a traditional way to agile thinking is a competitive advantage and very, very important in terms of letting organizations have. Now, why am I talking about this? Because agile says these 4 tenets are very important, and one of which is people damage. So I want all of you to just come to this, that one of the important thing is collaboration, interaction, individuals. That's exactly where agile thinking becomes indispensable and inevitable in the current scenario. Now, if you have understood this till now, let me try and take you to this. This is a slide, heavy slide. Don't worry about this. I will explain everything on that. This, sir, thoda sa, can you just remove that part, sir, so that it's easier? Or I will remove it. No problem, no problem. So what I want to talk about here, sir, is there is this company called Digital.ai, which is very respected, trusted, and they generate a lot of reports. Now, what has happened is that over the years, the rise of agile methodology has been there. But one thing which I observed from an industry perspective is that the satisfaction levels have drastically gone down. Active usage of agile has been extremely low compared to 94% of adoption that we have seen. And this actually has raised a lot of observatory concerns within me as to what is basically the reason. There is a rise in agile methodology, there is a lot of investment rise, but then the satisfaction and maturity levels have been declining. And that is the paradox that has led a lot of curiosity in me to study this problem, which is there in the industry, which was the reason why I brought this. Now, if you have understood this, we came from the digital era to the requirement of agile, to the rise of agile, and then we suddenly see a decline in the satisfaction levels. Then I figured out, and being from the industry, that a lot of focus has been on process, tools, frameworks, and a lot of ignorance has happened in the human dimension perspective. And that is one of the reasons why things have slightly seen a low satisfaction or adoption. Now, let me try and take you to another aspect where when I observed this in the industry, when I observed that this problem is happening, I went and did deep into the literature. Literature basically has been talking about practices. It has been talking about how agile is very useful. How can agile as a process be extended? How agile as a mindset can be adopted? And all these aspects have been studied. What is the benefit of agile? All these aspects are focused in the literature. Now, but what has really now been interesting, which is not there, and I'll come to that part as well. Suddenly, you see a global software development context coming. Agile talks about closeness. It talks about collaboration, team, co-location. This global software development, where all the IT industries, as you all are aware, IT industry is working in this GST wave. what we identified in the literature is several challenges that actually happen. Now, my study basically becomes all the more critical and important because the amplification of the problem in the context of GST becomes extremely important because teams are disparate. Once somebody sitting in Kolkata, somebody sitting in Russia, somebody in Japan, and all of them are part of a team trying to work together, just the way it happens in the IT industry, sir. Obviously, now with AI, a lot of things have changed. A lot has changed with that, but then yes, that's how exactly things are. So now this is one of the reasons why I brought this, because Agile was being talked as a co-location. Now suddenly this has gone into a global software development perspective, and hence I wanted to bring that. Now, in the literature again, another important observation that came was that there is a lot being talked about resistance. There is a lot being talked about adoption benefits, but nobody, or very scantily, people are talking about the human behavioral aspect. Very limited studies have happened where people are talking about human behavioral angle. And that was where I started getting some kind of hint that in industry also, the same thing is happening as it is happening in the academics. And that's where, if you see here, few of them have even said that there is a lot of things happening, but human-related aspects are slightly limited. Now, if you have understood this, and if I'm able to help you all understand this, let me try and come to a very important aspect as to how do I synthesize these gaps, right? Now we understood that Agile is important. We understood people are focusing more on process and frameworks and tools, ignoring human aspect. In the academic literature also, we saw that yes, there is extremely limited focus on the human behavioral aspect, not at all that it is not there, but it is limited. Then we came up that if that is the case, my entire observation of the, I'll come to this slide, sir. Let me try and talk to you about this. I slightly focused on this just to make it slightly easy overall for everybody's understanding. The first aspect is individual level analysis has been very, very minimal, sir. So people have focused on team, people have focused on organization. How can organization benefit? How can team level benefits can happen? But nobody has understood how is Prem basically going through that understanding process while he is adopting Agile. So human level centric is something which is very limited, and I could sense that few of the scholars in the ABDC or Scopus journals have really tried to investigate that. The other important thing was that people have either studied adoption, people have either studied benefits, then people have not studied together both the things. And we human behavior, whenever we try and adopt new things, especially this case of AI, when we are all asked in the organization to adopt to AI in academics, in industry, we also think about what are our benefits, what are our challenges, and then together as a human behavior, we do the reasoning. So this dual framework was missing. And obviously, as I said, Agile is from practitioners' perspective. And so the practitioners were doing a lot of addition to the body of language, but the theory-based studies were very limited, very, very limited. And that was one of the things which, when we were debating, myself and my supervisor, we were debating, we also kind of understood that the theory-based studies are very, very limited. And that was one of the things which really made me look into this more deep. And obviously, as I said, Agile is all about the human behavioral aspect. And the behavioral lens definitely was required both from industry and from academics. Just give me a second. Now, I'll go back first to the previous slide.
Just your objectives.
Okay, sir. So these are the literature reviews, sir. This, can I spend some time on this, sir? Because this is a solutioning kind of a thing, sir. Now here, once we understood that, we kind of started investigating and we found out there is this theory, behavioral reasoning theory, which was in the year 2005 and started gaining a lot of prominence. And this actually had dual framework. And I will not spend time, I'll quickly run through it, that how exactly human beings generate their values, from their values, the reason for and reason against, basis which the attitude is determined, and then the intention. Yeah, it is the entire flow. I'll show this up. This is the conceptual model where you have got values, then you have these motives, the reason for and reason against, which is then is linked to the attitude, which in turn decides your intention, your willingness. So this was one of the tenets which helped me look at my thesis, and hence I took this. Now, just a couple of minutes in terms of why I chose BRT. BRT definitely is a dual framework, as I was talking about as part of the gap. And this BRT as a dual framework helped me understand the reasoning, the dual reasoning aspect of it. Hence, this was taken up. This is the only research, not the research, this is the theory which actually, unlike the other theory of planned behavior and others where you have got single reasoning, here you have got dual framework where you have got reason for and reason against taken care of. This is the research questions and objectives, sir. I will hold it here. We are trying to understand through this research how exactly the individuals, the employee, like Prem and others, values and the motivations influence your attitude towards agile methodologies and IT projects. Our scope is the IT projects. Obviously, the attitude influencing the willingness or intention to implement. That's exactly where our questions basically focus. One of the things that we have added as well, I have kind of focused on is also trying to understand the demographic perspective of it as well, which you see at the third, to whether employees' values, motivation, attitude, and intention to adopt agile methodologies varies across different demographic groups. So that's the research question and the objective. Now let me quickly now go to the research of methodology, design, whatever perspective that I brought in. One of the key things, without spending a lot of time here, I would like to say is that in the space of GSD, sir, we took the global Indian nationality as such. I reached out to people who were working in the industry and known people. So I had a kind of a judgmental aspect as well. I did that. I reached out to people on WhatsApp, LinkedIn, etc., because I knew they were working in Agile and they were working as part of the IT industry. Primary, obviously, the data, obviously, we prepared questionnaire adapted from different instruments, and then we conducted this. Yes, it's purely completely on the quantitative aspect. We haven't touched on the qualitative at all. These are the hypotheses. There are 9 hypotheses total. These are the 8 ones where we talk about, as I spoke in terms of my research questions aligned to that, how do we actually understand the values and the reasons for, reasons against, then your attitude, because it drills down to attitude, then attitude towards intention, and how exactly the reasons against also behave. So reasons for and reasons against, very important when we do that decision. This is another important aspect that we have added, and I just want to mention that, yes, this is one such addition that we saw in the literature that it was not there. It was not just demographic aspect, but we wanted to also see not just what is happening in the reasoning, we also wanted to see who is that part, gender-wise, educational qualification-wise, and obviously in terms of their experience levels. I'll come to all this as I speak. Now, quickly just focusing on this, again, I will not spend more time. You can, I'll try and finish it as early as possible. We had approached to 780 people. These are all mentioned there. One of the things which came out is very, very important, and we will touch upon in our findings also, is that we had a good amount of representation in that 5 to 15 years. And that's where the entire IT industry is. Obviously, I belong to the lowest part, which is 26%. But then, yes, largely people are there. Obviously, again, if you see the sample-wise, the middle-level management obviously is representative. And ideally, yes, obviously with AI age, things will change. But yes, with middle level, again, the representation is there. This is, again, very, very important. And we will again discuss on this as we discuss the findings. I'll slightly go slow in this. These are our reasons for. So just improvements, quality, efficiency improvement. These are some of the aspects where we are trying to say, Prem as an individual, how he thinks when he talks about agile adoption. And then there is this value, which I said is the engine from where actually the reasoning starts before that. And that is nothing but your openness to change and power. Very, very important. Because in the industry, people think they might lose their power, they might lose their control, they might lose their status. That's where this becomes very important. Again, people are afraid of trying new things. People are very, very interested in trying new things, openness to change. And these are going to drastically change as we move to the AI age, as we go. These are the resistance, these are the reasonings in terms of the various barriers. One of which very, very conspicuous in the research was our traditional barrier. And this is extremely, extremely identical in terms of 15 plus years. I am myself in that bracket, and I know how difficult it is to really think about it because people do not really get into the new things so quickly. These are some of the statistics. Obviously, traditional barrier, and we discussed about power. I want you all to just focus on that while we discuss in detail the other aspect. This is the measurement model. Again, before I did the structural, obviously it was very important that we understand the reliability, validity, and other aspects before we get into the structural model. Everything here, I'm just rushing through this. These are the past. Everything had passed in that sense. Obviously, there was no collinearity, so that was very important because the constructs were not related, and that really helped. This is a structural model. Now, this is important. Now, when we were doing, when the hypothesis testing happened, all these hypotheses got supported. But one thing which really got rejected and really gave us a very, very important contribution is the research against impact or influencing the intention. There was no direct roadway for reason against actually influencing your intention. Others were all supported. We are very conspicuous in that, but I will actually touch upon this. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Yeah. So I will go back to the other slide, but here I want just to focus on this. So what had happened is, and this is an important contribution, that the reasons for had two ways to impact the intention. So one road was via attitude, and the other road was via the direct intention. That is why if you see reason for is intention, reason for is attitude. Both of them are supported. Now, I have given an analogy of TAP as a practitioner, and why I wanted to tell is that in organization, all these while, people has been thinking, barriers remove kar do, kaam ho gaya. Just remove the barriers from your things and you are done. No, it is not the case. The actual findings have said that in the bucket, there is this tap which is flowing, and there are holes which are your barriers. So this research finding has come out is that this particular study is saying that, look, while you fix the holes, okay, you focus on the tap where the water is flowing, which is nothing but the benefits. Evangelize that benefit in the organization as change agents. Try to more and more focus on the benefits, which will influence the attitude and in turn the intention. Why exactly this has happened is because in reasons against, the direct intention impact is not supported, but the attitude is supported. So it is supported through attitude, but not via intention. And hence, two roadways for reasons for, but one roadway for reasons against. And this is one of the important contributions because organizations will use this drastically as we unfold things. I just want to spend here time. I'll go back again wherever I just skipped. These are the hypotheses here. Now, I will quickly spend some time here, sir. Now, we did, as I said, that as part of our ninth hypothesis, hypothesis number 9, we had this demographic aspect. We did that through t-test. And what we found is that effectiveness improvement was very, very prominent among females. Now, female has been very low in our percentage, but they are actually our change agents. Females have really appreciated that agile adoptions will really help in terms of effectiveness improvement, and hence, as a change agent, they will be the ones where organization will try and bring a lot of training, a lot of evangelism, so that they can promote agility in the organization. When it came to education differences, if you see here, almost all the barriers were very conspicuous. And we found that postgraduates, and this is an important intervention again, sir, that postgraduates were significantly having more barriers compared to the UGs. And obviously, when you say PGs, obviously, they had more intellect, more evidence that they wanted to. And hence, as part of the intervention, what exactly came out is that yes, more and more custom-based programs may be required to be done for them. I will quickly go to this. Answer. Why is it not moving? Why is it not moving?
Come to your findings.
Yes, sir.
तो आपने बोल दिया.
हाँ सर, ये बोल दिया. ये वाला हो गया. ये सारे इसमें एक 2 मिनट सर बस समझाना चाह रहे थे. इसमें वर्क एक्सपीरियंस बेसिस पे अगेन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इंसाइट हैज कम. And what has happened is that we have kind of segregated it. I have kind of done the segregation 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 plus. And in that, what came out was very prominent was that people in the age group, in the experience group of 5 to 10, as part of the findings, they had shown good attitude and intention, which clearly means that they are our change agents. They are going to be the ones who will bring the agile adoption, promotion, or whatever intervention much better compared to 15 plus years. And for 15 plus, organization will have to really focus on helping them remove their traditional barriers and other things. That's exactly what this particular findings kind of say, and this was also supported. I don't know what is happening. This is the theoretical contribution. In terms of theoretical contribution, again, I would like to spend the focus on the first one. The first one, obviously, as I told in terms of my findings, that reasons for and reasons against, the way it is impacting your attitude and the intention. This asymmetry contribution is the contribution which is aligned, obviously, in the literature. And this, as part of the thesis, this becomes one of the important theoretical contribution. Obviously, usage of BRT and getting the dual framework is again another important contribution. One such thing which I wanted to just focus here on the TC number 4, which is our contribution, is that, as I said, that the reason why we wanted to bring Agile in the context of GST is because Agile was studied, but the adoption, individual adoption, was not studied to that extent in the GST context. And that is why Agile with GST is something which is an add-on in the literature, in the body of language, body of knowledge, sorry. I don't know what is. Yeah. This is, as a practitioner, I can possibly talk about this because I see that day in and day out. And this is drastically shown results because I've started utilizing it as an individual or myself an agile coach and obviously an agile practitioner. So one of the things which is definitely coming out very, very prominent as part of this thesis is evangelizing the benefits first. People think about barriers. No, it is not the case. Fix up the benefits and then focus on the barriers. That's exactly what we are trying to talk about by way of the asymmetry, which I discussed as part of my findings. The other thing is that 5 to 10 years of professionals are our most important bracket of people in the organization, and they are the ones who has got the highest attitude and intention, and hence they are our agile champions. They are the ones who will bring the difference, not just by holding training programs, investing monies. No, it won't help. Differentiation by demographics. We have understood one thing very clearly, that 15 plus years, they are veterans and they need better conversation, more customized conversation. And that is why people think this guy is 15 plus years. He is absolutely not going to adopt. He's not going to change. That is it. No. But then if organization focus, they are the real gold mine. And that's what our thesis is trying to focus on. Obviously, I've spoken about addressing the barriers sequencing. Middle level managers, if you recollect one of the observations from the descriptive statistics that we had, a lot of representation is, which is the reflection of the IT industries also, that our samples also had almost middle level managers density high. And that is why they are the ones who are the bridge between the organizational strategy and implementation in the teams and individual level. Yeah. Now, as part of the limitation and future research direction, this is very, very important. And there were a lot of feedback that came. We had a lot of debates as part of other things. One of the things which our limited, my thesis kind of encompasses is that, yes, at this point in time, we are focused on the GST context, but only India only. We could have possibly extended and generalized it across cross-culture. Indians working with Americans, US, etc. Obviously, we are focused on intention. That's where my thesis has kind of stopped, not progressing further as to whether it is realizing the actual behavior. And I have not considered any demographic aspect in terms of enterprise size or culture. That is not captured. Obviously, as part of the future research, as you can very well see that, yes, this can be extended for other contextual variables. And since we had to rush through the BRT, I just want to spend 1 minute on that. BRT is one such theory where the reason why we brought in the Agile was because it had context, sir. The context was very important because in organization, context-wise adoption really amplifies. And so right now we have taken software quality, effectiveness, improvement, efficiency. We can possibly look at culture, leadership, etc. also. Obviously, these are cross-sectional. Looking at behavioral option, then we can look at longitudinal studies. Demographic-wise, yes, we could have gone deep into other aspects, as I said. Geographical, yes, this can be, for future researchers can look at extending it for other geographies and understanding the cross-culture, cross-geographical aspect as part of this. Very, very notable in terms of this contribution. This is the implication, but for most important thing, what is very well coming is in terms of inclusion. As I sold, females have got a higher perspective in terms of attitude and intention towards Agile, and that is where inclusion comes. This is my implication. No. Anyway. Yeah. Just want to also spend some time on the acknowledgement. Thank you so much, all of you, especially both the examiners for finding some time, the ICFI faculty, my supervisor, my family members, and obviously all those people who participated in this research. I rushed it, but sir, since you wanted quickly, so open for questions, both from both sides, sir.
Prem ji, I want to ask, how does leadership behavior affect agile scaling success in global organization?
Oh, that is very, very prominent, sir. As if you recollect in the findings also, leaders in the organization who are basically trying to inculcate the agility. And we said that organizations are spending a lot of money, but ground level पे agile हो ही नहीं रहा है because embedding नहीं है, satisfaction नहीं. So as leaders, the two things that they have to do, which is one of the important findings that got supported, so is number one, if as to answer your question, number one, leaders will have to inculcate more and more attitude building things in the organization. And how do they do that? They do it through our reasons for, which we discussed, sir. And it has got almost 60% explainability, sir, since you wanted to just go to that. So yeah, you can get that through your reasons for, and then build it through your attitude, sir.
Okay, next question is, what managerial behavior supports or hinder agile transformation?
Oh, that is super question, sir. The managerial aspect, again, as part of the findings, we discussed about it, that our managers in the mid-level managers, right? They are the ones who are a bridge between our organizational strategy, the leaders. You as leaders are bringing strategy, and they are the ones who are executing those strategies, sir. So to answer your questions, yes, my findings are supported. My thesis gives you that 5 to 10 years experience middle level managers are going to have that managerial transformation for the agile adoption, sir.
Okay. Next question is, how do reward system or performance metrics influence agile behavior?
Okay. So can you just explain more on this, sir?
How do reward systems and performance metrics influence agile behavior?
Oh. So again, if you recollect, sir, as part of our values, so value is the place where is the starting engine, sir. So it has two constructs. One is power, and one is your openness to change. Now, power, if you see, it is the standard deviation is almost 1, sir, and the mean is almost like 3 point something, if I recollect the data. Now, what is happening is, to answer your question, if I've understood it, I will have to really design my reward system in such a way that this power aspect is taken care of. Because this is where organizations' employees are really scared of. I will lose my power, I will gain more prominence, I will have more status, I will lose my prestige. That's where I think power element will have to bring the intervention, sir.
Thank you, Sanjay sir. Now I would request Dr. Tushar Pani sir to please ask the questions.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm asking, ma'am, is it open Viva?
Yes, sir.
Or it is confined to only a few faculty members?
No, sir.
It's for open.
It is open Viva. It is also live in YouTube.
Acha, do you have resource scholars sitting there?
Yes, sir. We have research scholars also. Some of them have joined.
Okay, so online. Okay, ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
I have a few questions for you. It's a very good work he has done.
Yes, sir.
Acha, I had gone through your literature review. Why you have not added a single literature after 2023? Any specific reason behind that? Because it is 2025 you submitted your thesis.
Sir,
I didn't find it.
Please complete, sir. Please complete.
Can you hear me?
You are able to hear, sir?
Do you have any literature after 2023?
So there is an addition of 2024 few of the literature I've added, sir. Yes, but there are limited ones. That is one of the things. Till 2023, obviously, is there. But in 2024 also, there are few IJPM paper, if I recollect. I have added that as well. But yes, it was only till 2024 because again we started working on submissions and other things. That's where I think 2025 is not there, sir. Yeah.
But why you have thought of using behavioral reasoning theory?
Very important question, sir. Is it audible?
Yes, it's audible.
Mic is there, you can come.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, because there are so many other theories are there. Why specifically you selected behavioral reasoning theory?
Yeah. So as I spent time and since we had to spend there, so sir, behavioral reasoning theory, when we said other theories also and compared to this, BRT, when I looked at the literature also and I saw that recent.
Like which other theories you had gone for?
Yeah. So obviously the other theories that we were evaluating was obviously TPB, UT, the TAM, other models as well. But what we found, sir, was that in this, there was dual reasoning, sir. And these reason against and reason for are not opposites. So suppose if you're adopting Agile, you're thinking about the benefits. At the same time, you're thinking about why I should not do that. So what are my barriers? And they are both opposites, sir. And that is why it was actually very enriching in terms of bringing a dimension that how human beings are trying to reason out both reasons for and reasons against together. And we found, yes, listen.
If you had gone for TAM, TAM model, I think TAM model.
Yeah.
So, would you have faced any problem in that?
So it's not about problem, and that's a good suggestion, sir. We had in the institution also debated a lot. We tried to compare it also. What we felt when we were discussing and debating on that was that when we talk about those, they are basically either talking about adoption or about barriers. But here, when we found BRT and we started looking at a literature review by one of the researchers who did a literature review on BRT, it was specifically called out, sir, that the reasons against and the reasons, the contextual aspect was very, very prominent here. And for Agile, this could be contextualized. And we were finding a lot of challenge there in contextualizing it, sir. So that is one of the reasons why we chose BRT, if I could explain you, sir.
Okay, so you had taken 418 samples.
Yeah.
So they all are from software development companies?
Okay. So they are from
they are from software development side?
Yeah, so they are basically representing IT industry, sir. Yeah. I did not reach out to any non-IT.
I am asking whether they are in IT applications or they are into IT development.
So when I say IT applications, so they might be either doing software development, product development, they will be to services, they will be to products, sir. So it's generic, covers everything here, sir.
Because your thesis is on global software development company.
Yeah. So that is a context actually. It's a context basically. It's also like global software engineering, global software development, sir. But
who were the sample institutions, sample organizations?
So I reached out to people since I've worked in Infosys, I've worked in TCS, I've worked in product companies, Oracle, etc. So I reached out to all the people who were there in my network. And that's where they were able to respond because I knew they have worked in Agile, either they have been part of Agile teams.
Yes, my point is that you have taken, let's say, how many organizations? I'm asking, how many organizations?
Okay, if on the finger, I don't remember, sir, but yes, I had reached out almost to 20 plus organizations for sure, sir, because on the LinkedIn.
See, organizations vary in terms of their turnover, in terms of their adoption process, it varies.
Yes.
Is it a multinational company or Indian company, the adoption process will vary.
Yes.
Okay. That's why I'm asking, have you made a comparison whether Indian companies or multinational companies?
No, that is a good suggestion, sir. I'll just note it down. So as I said, the enterprise size, culture.
It matters because it is all about investment.
Correct, sir. Very, very important.
It's all about investment.
Right.
So I think you could have taken care of that also.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
because
Noted, sir.
my next question is, uh, can you just tell me which are the adoption drivers? Who are the adoption drivers in your study?
When you say adoption drivers in terms of the individual, sir?
In
Or,
your study itself, you had some adopt because you had an objective
yes, sir.
to
Yes.
find out the adoption drivers and
Correct.
resistance factors.
Yes. So for in our study, sir, there are three things we have taken as drivers, or you can say reasons for. One is efficiency improvement, the other one is software quality, and then there is the effectiveness improvement. In terms of our barriers, which are our reasons against, we have talked about traditional barrier, we have talked about risk barrier, we have talked about value, image, all these things, sir. So these are the various barriers that we took, which are RA, and the drivers were these three as part of our reasons for.
I think you have taken value as also a driver. Value.
Value is there, but that is just before reasons for and reasons against, and we took power and value of openness to change, sir. So they are basically the starting engine. You are right, sir. That is also.
See, when you talk to the IT employees, then value is just a psychological proposition for them.
Yeah. Yes.
Value simply just psychologically you compare between the cost and benefit that they get. So it will vary. It will obviously vary across demographic profiles. Okay, of the respondents.
So you are saying demographic
For
perspective.
example, for example, when you are adopting any agile methodology,
Okay, sir.
you had thought ki what is the value of using that?
Yeah, the ROI pass. The
Value.
ROI,
So you must have measured the comparison or made a comparison between the cost and benefit.
correct.
Value will vary respondent to respondents. For me, as an employee, it is very valuable. For another employee, it's simply sheer wastage of money or something that may come to as a response.
Right. So that part, partially, sir, we have, I have kind of addressed. I will tell you, females, for example, we found as part of our study that the effectiveness improvement among females slightly had more intent and attitude. Which
Out of your respondents, can you just roughly say what is the percentage of respondents who had registered agile methodology?
resisted agile methodology. So individually, I possibly.
You have taken up 418 samples.
Right,
Out
sir.
of that, how many spoke in favor of that? How many spoke against of that?
But sir, they were collected together, right, sir? So this is like it's not opposite. It's like reasons for and the reasons against both were
You mean to
captured.
say people resist also? You have
Yes,
two
sir.
factors.
Right, sir. Exactly. So as
Adoption
Prem,
driver
sir, I
and
will think
resistance
about
factors.
quality. I will also think about the barriers. It's like that, sir. If I could understand that, but I'll make a note of this point. Number of peoples who resisted.
When you go for certain methodology, a group of respondents must have registered. Yes, this is not good. We are very comfortable with the traditional methods.
Yes, sir. So that traditional barrier has been very conspicuous in the finding. They actually, and the reasons against traditional barrier was one of the sub-constructs which had the lowest value. So it was somewhere mean was around 2.18 or something. So traditional barrier came in.
Now you say, for whom you have made this study?
Okay. So this
For
study,
whom?
yeah,
For whom you have made your research work?
very, very important. So this study, sir, this study is going to be extremely important to organizations who are basically rolling out agile adoption. They are spending money. They are spending money on change agents like agile coaches, scrum masters, product managers who are agile project managers, and they are the ones who are now informed that Is it that how do I bring more and more of acceptability and embeddedness among the employees? What is the finding say? It will say that you have to build on the attitude. Through what? Through reasons for, because that is stronger than the reasons against. So to answer your question, my research is going to be helpful for organizations, for change agents, for policymakers, and they will really make a huge difference, sir. Huge difference. And I have already started seeing the impact because I have started utilizing it at my end itself. Because I have worked as an agile coach as well 2 years back. And I understand how people perceive the barriers and the drivers.
So, since you say you are an agile coach, so why people resist? What is the reason?
Oh, several reasons, sir. One of the reasons is because they are not interested to take the new things. So they have that traditional baggage. So when I started my career.
So in this context, let me ask you, suppose you are working in IT field, when
Yes, sir.
somebody reach at the age of 50 or 45 plus, he become a plateaued person. Okay.
Yes, sir.
When somebody reach at the age of 45 to 50, becomes plateaued.
Okay.
They don't want to, let's say, go for something new or that. Okay. So for those type of people, as an agile coach, how you are going to motivate them?
Brilliant, sir. That's exactly what the finding is also saying. So, as part of the finding, 15 plus years experienced people have shown the maximum traditional barrier resistance as part of our reasons against. And as an agile coach, to answer your question, or even an agile practitioner, I will definitely bring in interventions. Now, what type of interventions? Not the general customer training, not the normal training which we will do for 5 to 10 years. To answer your question, since they have reached that plateau, and I'm myself in that age group. So what I would do, I will customize the training programs. I will bring in more changes in their attitude, which will generate a lot of positivity, and then the intention will follow, sir. Superb question, and this is one of the findings. One of the findings here.
So you mean to say it is not related to knowledge and skill, it is almost related to attitude aspect.
Yeah, so attitude obviously is the central driver for sure. As part of the contextual variable that I have taken, the ultimate thing is the strongest aspect is the attitude, which is built through reasons for values, as you said, sir, and then through reasons against. And that is driving your intent.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Tushar sir, good morning. This is Evan Panda.
Panda sir. Okay,
Nice
thank
meeting
you.
you. Nice meeting you. So,
Okay.
you have not got a donation.
Sir, right now I am at Bhubaneswar. I just got retired.
I know. I keep working track record, yeah.
No.
So good wishes for your second innings.
ठीक.
Thank
So
you.
it's very good, very contemporary work, very good work he has done. But while publishing, you can have made a little bit comparison and all these things. It will be very nice one.
Sure, sir. Sure. We are focusing on getting this publication also. Right now, we are targeting A star and A journal, and that is why we are trying to take some time, sir, on this.
But
yes,
your field is so volatile.
Yeah, it is.
You'll find some new thing will come.
AI with AI things will change, sir. You're right.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable feedback. Now I would request the faculty members to put their question, if any.
I can tell you. Mr. Dayal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's nice meeting, and I think you've done a pretty good job.
Thank you so much, sir.
Now, I understand this behavioral component, which happens to be one of the difficult zone to touch on. Because there has been a lot of studies kept incomplete on behavioral aspects. Because that's more psychological, more kind of a unexpected way.
Sir.
And to reach the conclusion, that behavioral reasoning, basically, on say agile methodology or kind of faculty all these things. So how do you kind of catch this behavioral aspect in your studies?
So that is where the primary driver was, sir. So if I've understood your question, people have studied about process, frameworks, tools, technology, so many things on agile. Everything was happening. But very few scholars have touched upon the behavioral dimension, and that too at the individual level. And that is the crux and the most elementary part of our thesis. My thesis in terms of whether that individual behavioral component is properly captured. And we have captured it through reasons for, and we have captured it through reasons against, and their values, which is power and openness to change. So, sir, to answer your question, yes, it is difficult because not many scholars have touched upon it. We have tried to take these constructs and then capture it through our questionnaire and then study it further.
Because why I asked this question, it is much volatile, much unexpected.
Yeah, it is that is why one of the limitations is that, as sir also mentioned, that we could have thought about cross-cultural aspect, right? People from different or enterprise also. Some enterprise is small, some enterprise is big. That is one of the limitations, sir, which we will address it in our future study.
Okay. This is fine.
Yeah.
So now I would request the examiners if Sir Rajkumar sir, if
Thank you very much for both the external examiners for giving a solid comment on the thesis. And it's been a long time, like he was working on the thesis, and we have so much of challenges, especially related to the BRT theme, sir. As you rightly questioned, why BRT, we had almost 3 progress presentation on that, sir. While comparing TAM and then TAM 1, TAM 2, as well as UT, AUT 2, 1, 2, validation, and after that, why BRT? So many work has happened, and this was a repeated and expected questions. So we worked on that, and more of question leads to a better understanding of the topic, and that creates interest in the topic itself. So with that way, it's a long journey from
6 years long journey, sir.
Prakash Dayal. So congratulations to him, and
पानी सर बधाई देते हैं सर प्रेम प्रकाश जी को
बधाई दे दीजिए, you can announce, sir.
बधाई हो आपको भाई.
On behalf, sorry, on the basis of the performance of Mr. Prem Prakash Dayal and the questions asked by the various experts and the members present in the Viva Voce, on the basis of his performance, I would like to recommend the ICFI University to award Doctors of Philosophy in Management to Mr. Prem Prakash Dayal.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
That is my recommendation. Now other experts and others.
I also recommend. I also recommend the same.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the
Thank you,
best.
sir.
Good luck. Have a
Thank
bright
you.
future.
Thank you, Tushar sir. Thank you so much.
So on the
Thank you.
behalf of ICFI University Jharkhand, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to our external examiner, Dr. Sanjay Pandey sir from Bilaspur, who has come all the way, traveled in summer. Thank you, sir, for all your time and valuable inputs. And also to Dr. Pani sir for giving his wonderful academic feedbacks to the scholar. Last but not the least, I would like to congratulate the guide, Dr. Rajkumar sir, for the wonderful work, and also to Dr. Prem Prakash.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's so nice to
Thank
hear
you,
that.
sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
God bless. God bless.
Hey,
thank you, sir. We'd like to see you.
Congratulations to
Yeah.
Dr. Rajkumar also. Congratulations.
Yeah, Tushar sir, we look forward to our campus. Thank you.
So now we can leave the camp. Leave it.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
So
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think some scholars. The scholars.
Right.
Sir, Conductor.
Right.
Sir, Conductor.
Professor Sanjay